Good morning, good evening, good night. Hello, my name is Nick. I run a company called Capital Catalyst. I'm here to talk to you today about the idiots on the internet. Am I included in that? Maybe, but let me explain my definition of an idiot, because this is the thing. People will bash people for their opinions, which is, fine. I mean, people can do whatever they want. But when you bash people for their opinions, it can sometimes feel a little rude, right? It's like, oh, I like apples. Oh, you're an idiot for liking apples. It's like, what? What are we talking about? And that's a dumb, kind of trivial example. But you get people in Magic where it's like, oh, I like playing CEDH. And it's like, wow, I hate you for liking CEDH. And it's like, what? Or, you invest in Magic cards, like, oh, the investor bros. And I mean, now you can believe that different groups have negative externalities, which is a fancy way of saying if you believe somebody's preferences are causing harm to the world in general, then maybe there's a legitimate reason to dislike someone's preferences. But in general, with all these caveats, the point I'm trying to make is that idiots shouldn't be defined by their preferences. They should be defined by not being careful and saying things that aren't true, right? And that's what you get on the internet all the time, are people who say things that aren't true, and they don't justify it or have any way to kind of soften their words. They just state things as facts, and then they're just wrong. And when you state something as a fact without saying, like, this is what I think, this is what I believe there's evidence for this, I see evidence for this. There's a lot of ways you can say something, make a statement that you believe is factual, but not mislead. But instead on the internet, we get all these people who say, like, I know this, or this is true, or these are the facts, and there's no way I could be wrong. And then those people end up being wrong. So let's go over a few of those examples. But before we do, let me introduce myself a little bit more. My name's Nick. I run a company. Links in the description below. Buy stuff on Amazon, supports the channel. Biggest thing you could do, though, is subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. We're 2/3 the way there, which is incredible. Very grateful. Thank you to my subscriber army for being here, supporting me. It's a lot of fun. All right, to the points. Let's take a look at the most recent spoiler. This is fun for this new set coming out, the Secrets of Strixhaven. So we got the Emeritus of Ideation, a 5-drop blue human wizard with flying ward 2. When this creature enters prepared, which means that it can cast the instant or sorcery attached to it. The instant that's attached to it is Ancestral Recall, which is a power 9 card, 1 blue instant, target player draws 3 cards. And then it has an ability, whenever this creature attacks, you may exile 8 cards from your graveyard. If you do, this creature becomes prepared. It has to be prepared to cast the spell. And once it casts the spell, it becomes unprepared. And so basically what this is 5 mana. You get a creature that's a 5/5 that flying in ward 2, not bad. And then you can pay 1 additional mana at instant speed to draw 3 cards. Not bad at all. It's a good card. It goes in a lot of commander decks. It goes in maybe, but probably not, standard decks or modern decks. Like I said, probably not. But it is funny. There's obviously, this is a cool thing, but it is funny just going through Reddit and seeing the people freaking out about, like, this is the craziest, strongest card in the world. Broken. This card's broken. Oh boy. It's like, this is the thing. It's 6 mana, draw 3 cards, get a body. That isn't unprecedented. There are other cards, like I'm trying to remember the one other wizard that can tap to draw 3, cost mana. Of course, you could say that when I say cost mana, I mean it has a mana cost, right? The thing that makes Ancestral Recall so good is it's 1 mana. Once you have to invest 5, 6, even just 4 mana to get that effect, it's nowhere near as good. Now, let me back up a little bit. Do I think this person who said that this card's broken is an idiot? Yes, because they didn't preface it with 1 word. I guess that's 2 words. I think it's broken. This might be nitpicky, and maybe it's silly, but when you go out there and you want to communicate an idea, yes, it's better clickbaity to say like, this is broken. And that's what I'm going to put on the thumbnail or whatever. But the reality is that you think it's broken. It might be broken, or there's evidence that it could be broken, right? And these are the ways that we would communicate if we really wanted to, like, I don't know, be good at communicating. Moving on. Pleasant Kenobi had a good time talking about this island mountain that's coming out in the Deadpool secret lair. And you can see it on screen now. This is Pleasant Kenobi's video. You should go check it out. It says Magic Players Are Dumb and Angry is the title. And there's a island that's been crossed out by Deadpool, and it's a mountain. And Pleasant Kenobi talks about how people on the internet think that this is an island mountain, which is obviously ridiculous because the island's been crossed out and it says mountain on it. But interesting, right? I mean, like, people can just believe whatever they want to believe. That's all I'm going to say. You can watch his video, which is a good time. What I really, really want to get to is the story about the Encore Electromancer. I don't know if you've seen this card. Most people haven't. This is a reskin of Snapcaster Mage that came from Hatsune Miku. Is that how you say it? And so it's a Snapcaster Mage, which isn't really a competitive card anymore, but it was a competitive card for a long time in this steampunk, Hatsune Miku art, whatever. So this card has only sold a couple copies in the past year and is now going for $1,700. This is the rainbow foil copy. So let me tell you the story behind this card and my relationship with it, or lack of relationship with it. So Hatsune Miku's Secret Lair came out, and it seemed like a scalper's paradise. It's Hatsune Miku. Who isn't going to want to buy this? So thought all of the evil scalpers like myself. And so evil scalpers bought all of it. First couple hours when it first came out. The art was bad. The cards were bad, but it was anime inspired. So this has got to sell well, right? Well, in reality, it doesn't. I mean, and this is true for a lot of secret lairs, right? Is people jump in and they think like, oh, this is going to be great, easy flip. It sold out quick. But it turns out it sold out to all scalpers. So all the scalpers buy it and then get to look at each other awkwardly saying, oh crap, we're all posting on eBay at the same time. So that's what happened with this Hatsune Miku Secret Lair. Now, if you sold the singles and there were bonus cards that came with it, and if you did the grind, you could make money. And I broke even on the first round of Hatsune Miku. And then they came out with a second round of Hatsune Miku cards. In the second round, the cards were better. I'm trying to remember the details. Let me look up, actually. I guess I can just look up Hatsune Miku Secret Lair. Yeah, I'm looking at the third one now, but I know that there's a couple other ones. So anyways, what's the point? The point is that there were multiple rounds with different cards in them. Oh yeah, here's the second round, which is the one I got. Let me check out this first round. Is this the first round? No. Okay, let me show you the second round, which is what I bought a bunch of, because I was like, oh, this is going to be different than the first round. Because look, there is Soul Ring, there's Chord of Calling, there is the Child of Alara, Diabolic Tutor, Song of Creation, Thespian Stage. So particularly the Soul Ring, I was like, this has got to do well, right? This has got to be like a good purchase. And it's appreciated just fine. And at the time I was able to sell those Soul Rings pretty well. So I bought a bunch of these, right? And you start opening them and they come with bonus cards, and there on the internet are all these leaks about this Encore Electromancer bonus card. And people were freaking out. And so I was so excited. I opened up like 15 of these things, hoping I'd open up one of these. Did not. Never did. Never opened up one of these. But it was like such a chase, such a high to try to get this super expensive card. I wasn't going to hold on to it. It was all about the flipping, the scalping, whatever. But that was the goal. And so when I was on Reddit at the time and looking through the posts and people talking about this situation, there were a number of people that were really fudding the search for the Hatsume Miku Encore Electromancer. I mean, and maybe this isn't such a big deal. Like maybe it was just, memorable to me because I was so invested in hopefully winning the lottery on this thing. But what a popular post at the time said was, oh, this card, it's sequential. Like the number at the bottom left corner is like 808, and the cards in the set are like 806 and 80, or like goes up to like 804 or 5 or something like that. So probably the next time they do Hatsume Miku Secret Lair, this will be just one of the main cards in it. And people were voting for that. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is a bonus card in a Secret Lair. They have never once taken a bonus card in a Secret Lair and then made it just the main card in a next Secret Lair. The bonus card is always somewhat special. And then, if it's a bonus lottery card, it's all that more special, right? I did get my luck back a little bit with the SpongeBob Secret Lair. I opened up one of the special like counter spells that had the funky letters. So, don't feel too bad for me and my scalper self. But anyways, what's the point? The point is there's people on the internet saying all kinds of things, and there's so much idiocracy. And it's just interesting how you can live like a happier, healthier, more productive life if you just don't engage with a lot of the negativity. It always surprised me when I listen to like rich and famous people who get really bothered by comments or, just negativity on the internet, because it just feels totally counterproductive for anybody, even if you're not rich and famous, to really take stock in a lot of the things that are said. Because guess what? Really low IQ Timmy gets just as much of a keyboard and a space to kind of spread their ideas and thoughts as somebody who's like really thought out and really careful about what they say and what they communicate. And in general, we don't reward people who are careful about what they say and communicate very much, while we somehow on the internet reward people who are very brazen and rash quite a bit. So food for thought, really interesting stuff. I think what the takeaway is for us Magic players is that, just being careful about all the people and the ideas and what they're saying out there, and not letting the weird kind of negativity bug you. And hopefully this was interesting. Hopefully you learned something. And if you did, subscribe, please. Anyways, thank you. Have a great day.